Good morning. Happy coffee talk. It is Monday morning, cold here, but not raining, so grateful for that. And I'm starting my day with this amazing cup of Black Rifle coffee in one of my favorite mugs. This is like I don't know. To me, every mug that's my favorite looks like a landscape. It looks like I'm looking into the trees and I can see the sky, and that's what this looks like. And I love this mug. Last week I got the privilege to travel to Texas, actually, to do a event with Wounded Warrior Project and my friend Nick Perales, who walked 205 miles from Houston to San Antonio, and I got to do the last 2 days with him. And so that was really cool. And so I didn't do coffee talk, I think, those last couple days because I was walking. And I walked like 30 something miles, I think, which is definitely the most I have personally ever walked in a given 2-day stretch, but nothing really to complain about because he walked 205 miles, and there were a couple other guys who were combat injured veterans who walked some decent chunk of that too. And so my 30 miles was just my contribution, but it was very cool to be a part of it. And now that I'm back, I wanted to share maybe some of the things that I thought about when I was walking, because that's the beautiful thing. When you're walking, you get a lot of time to think. A lot of time to think because you go in phases. I don't know if you've ever done a big long hike or a big long walk, but you tend to like waver between talking, laughing, thinking, and then wanting it to be over. All of those things. And so the thinking time, when you sort of like settle in, is really interesting because your mind starts to take over. And that's really cool because when your mind takes over, so I'm going to fix my video. When your mind takes over, it starts to do work for you without it being active. And so let me describe what I'm saying. When we are actively like, I'm going to think about something, we're choosing to intentionally direct our mind there. We're trying to problem solve. We're trying to plan. We're trying to think things through. We're trying to talk ourselves in or out of something. But when you just walk, when you just let your brain do its thing, which some people say, is part of what meditation is. I mean, I've never been an expert meditator, but that is part of it too, is you just let your brain do its thing. But that happens to me while I walk or while I hike. And so on this particular trip, I'm getting a lot of opportunity for my brain just to wander. And so I thought I would share a few of the things that I thought about. Maybe they'll be helpful for you. The first is, there are so many things that we are capable of doing that we don't even touch. So walking 30 miles is a perfect example. And I remember thinking to myself as I crossed like mile 14, 15 or something that first day that I was like, I've never walked this far. Why not? Why not? It's kind of weird because it's just anything that I could have done in any given day. That's not like an epic feat that takes a ton of preparation. I literally could walk out my door right now and just decide, hey, I'm going to spend the next 4 or 5 hours walking and do it. But I'd never done it before. And as I let my brain sort of ponder on that, I was like, what other things that are very accessible to push myself have I never even considered? And again, like we can dream of climbing Mount Everest, we can skydive, we can all those things. But again, and I have some of those dreams too. I want to work towards climbing Mount Rainier, all of that stuff. But there are things in our daily life that are far more accessible that we don't even touch, that could push you outside of your comfort zone, that could help you grow, that could help you become a better person, all those things, but we don't even consider them. They're just there. They're just a part of our assumptions, I guess is how I would describe it. Isn't that weird? So anyways, I just wanted to share that because I thought to myself, well, what are the things that I'm not doing on a daily that are right there in front of me? For you, maybe it's just something as simple as like asking for your coffee to be corrected. Maybe you order coffee, it comes back not correct, and you're like, I'm just going to go with it, whatever, because I don't want to, rock the boat. Maybe the accessible thing in your day is just standing up for yourself and getting what you pay for. Maybe it's, having a conversation with your boss around something that you just don't do it because you don't want to rock the boat. You're uncomfortable with it. And so pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone could be having an uncomfortable conversation. Pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone could be going to the gym that's literally down the street. It could be any of that. So anyways, sometimes we have these big giant visions that require a whole lot of planning. And other times, the stuff that we need to change or the stuff that can potentially help us the most is literally right in front of us. And there's no money that's required with accessing it. There's no, barriers to you getting there. So that was my thought number one. Thought number one is, what other obvious things in my life are right in front of me that could be pushing me outside of my comfort zone that I'm not even taking advantage of? Thing number two is, why don't I spend more time letting my brain think? That might be a weird one. Very meta. Like, I'm thinking about things and like, why don't I think more about things, right? Like, it's like the circle of like, what the heck? But it's true. Why don't we, because I'm sure you're like me, where you're busy, go, and you've got things all the time. Why aren't we partitioning some portion of our day or week or month for that kind of deep thought? We probably should, because some great stuff comes from those thoughts. Some great stuff comes from giving your brain the opportunity to just think. Why don't we do that? I've started to try to do it a little bit more. Even before the walk, I've started to journal. I have also started to go on little walks where I'm not listening to a podcast. And sometimes even when I drive now, I don't turn on anything. I don't turn on any music. I don't turn on a podcast or an audiobook. I just let myself think. That's how I'm trying to do it. Even in the shower, I've been accustomed to taking showers where I'm listening to something because I want to use that time while I'm showering to think, to learn, to whatever. And lately, I've just been like, you know what? Give myself time. And so as I did that walk, I thought to myself, well, what else? What other things need to be built into my week so that I have time to think? Because this time is really valuable. Also, another thing I took away was how easy it is to make new friends when you are in motion. And what I mean by that is when we are in our heads, when we are thinking about doing things, when we're just sitting around wondering when one day when I do X, Y, and Z, it's very isolating because, we don't always have to be connected, but at the same time, if we're stuck and we're not moving forward, we tend to be alone in that stuckness or reinforced by other stuckness people. But if we are in motion and we are around other people, it is almost easy to create a bond. Walking with some new friends, on Thursday and Friday meant that we had a chance to connect while we were in motion. So if you're going to a gym and you're taking a class with people, it's more likely that you're going to meet people because you're in motion. You're doing the class. Maybe you put yourself in motion into our Fit Me program. And all of a sudden now you're meeting people who are also doing meal prep, who are also thinking about food, who are also trying to take better care of themselves. You're not just like hoping one day you do it, you're actually doing it. And so you're in motion. So now you're connected with other people who are in motion too. And now you make new friends because there's a bond there. And so if you're somebody who genuinely wonders, how do I create a community? How do I put a support system in place around me so that I have other people who are doing a healthy lifestyle too? I think one of the ways to do that is to put yourself in motion, to start to take action rather than just think about the things that you want to do. When you're in motion, you're going to meet people along the way who are in motion too. You have by design created a situation in which you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are going to push you. So I've brought this up and I'm going to continue to bring it up until I make myself do it. One of my personal goals is to climb Mount Rainier. And I've thought about it. I've shared it. It's something I want to do, but there are multiple steps along the way for me to do that. So I wouldn't consider myself in motion yet around this. I've talked and thought about it. I've even shared it. In motion is going to be signing up for that very first mountaineering class and going. Because then now I'm going to meet other people at that class who want to climb Mount Rainier, who also want to learn how to do it. So when I'm there, I'm going to meet like-minded people who think that climbing a mountain is a cool goal and they want to learn. I'm not going to meet the people who are also just dicking around thinking about it. I'm going to meet the people who are in motion, right? So that's why I'm trying to say, like, and this was one of those like really clear thoughts that I took away, was like, when we are in motion, we're already choosing to surround ourselves with other people who are in motion. If you're at the gym and you're doing the class, you're not meeting the person who's sitting on the couch thinking about one day joining the gym. You're meeting the person who's there struggling with you. If you are, again, you're just by design connecting with other people who will reinforce what your personal goals are. So that was kind of my third one, to be in motion. To be in motion means that you get to connect with other people. And I was really grateful to make some new friends on the walk. We were literally in motion as we were walking. But it was easy because we were walking for the same purpose. We were together. Nobody was thinking about it. We were doing it. That bond happens from being in motion together. And so those are just a couple. I just wanted to give you 3. I don't want to give you 100 thoughts, but I wanted to give you those 3. And I thought maybe that they would be helpful for you. What are the obvious things, the things that you're overlooking in your real life right now that could be pushing you outside of your comfort zone that we have just made the assumption are a part of our, quote, environment or normal that really actually could be helping us grow, but we assume we have to do something epic, pay a bunch of money, fly to the moon, when really we could grow just by having that uncomfortable conversation with the coffee barista or going for a longer walk than we think we're capable of. Truly accessible right in front of us. The second is, why aren't we giving our brains more time to think? Not intentional, like I must decide this thing, but why aren't we giving our minds time to do the things that they do? We should build that into our week. And then last is, when we are in motion, we make bonds and connections that help us be less alone because we are finding others who are in motion too towards our goal. And if you are feeling isolated or like you're lacking a support system or structure or friendships or people who also want to do what you're doing, it might be because you're not in motion towards that goal. And if once you start to be in motion, well, then things start to change. So that's my coffee talk message for today. I want to ask you a huge favor. Do me a huge favor. If you like this episode, screen capture it and share it on Instagram and tag me. I don't have any sponsors or anything for this podcast, so that's really the only way that people find out about it is if you do that. And it means a ton to me if you do. So if you could screen capture and share it, that would be amazing. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to Fit Me Coffee Talk on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're not a part of our Facebook group, go to Facebook, search Fit Me Community and request to join the group. I will add you and you can be a part of it. We've got some amazing stuff coming up for next year, and I would love for you to take advantage of all of our free activities that we're going to be doing in the Fit Me community. So come on over and I will see you in there, and I hope to talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.